Welcome to Knockhill Racing Circuit for round 6 of the Scottish BMW Compact Cup. Now the weather is absolutely perfect for racing, the sun is shining, and on pole position is championship leader Gary Clark. Alongside him lines up Lee Elric. These two guys at the front of the grid. I'm going to hand it to Richard and he'll take us through race number 1.
Gary Clark's third pole position of the year. Lee Elric is alongside. Then it's Greg Sutherland and Alistair Smith, row 2. Neil McInnes and Cliff Harper on row 3, followed by Ray McDowell and Steve Goldie. Douglas Simpson and Liam Grant complete the 5th row. Row 6, Ashley Morris and Jeff Clark, followed by Gordon McShannock, Andrew Mackey alongside, and then David McNaughton right at the back. Only did one lap in qualifying, didn't set a time. So keep your eyes peeled on the 23 car, the blue and red 23, starts right from the back of the grid. He is third in the championship. 2 lights on, 3, 4, getting ready for the start. Gary Clark in red and yellow, Lee Elric in black with the green trim. Good start from Gary Clark. There's Ray McDowell. Had a podium at Donington Park. We missed him last time out, of course, in July. But it's Gary Clark that leads. Very good start from Alistair Smith in 4th place, very nearly up to 2nd. Gets a wobble on as he rejoins the track, going down into Scotsman. So Smith is up into 3rd. A little bit of a lock-up on the brakes by somebody going into Scotsman corner. But Gary Clark maintaining the form, which sees him lead the championship by some 47 points. Now, I'll give you the perspective on that. It's 40 points for a race win. So, although 47 points sounds a lot, one DNF could wipe things out for Gary Clark. Side by side for 2nd. Smith and also Lee Elric. Here's the view from Greg Sutherland, who's coming under pressure in the 97 car. Greg qualified in 3rd. Alistair Smith, you come across on the back of the car. Lee Elric chasing the race leader up the hill. Elric himself, the leader of the newcomers class or newcomers championship. But it's Gary Clark, the man that leads. As I said, 3rd pole position of the season for him. He's set 4 fastest laps out of the 10 races that we've had so far this year. And again, at lockup, but Lee Elric heading a little bit of a train at the moment. Elric qualified well. He's exactly where he qualified, 2nd position, but he has got a queue behind him at the moment. So probably having a look in his mirrors and having seen Alistair Smith made that great start to get up to 3rd, and he was challenging for 2nd place. But it's Gary Clark away and down the road at the moment, starting to build a little bit of a lead. We probably need to watch Elric. He's had the last 2 fastest laps in the championship. Prior to that, we were away at Donington when former champion or reigning champion Stephen Daly had both fastest laps, and of course both race wins at Donington. And prior to that, 3 fastest laps for Gary Clark. So Clark at the moment making no errors at all, up and over the brow. Lee Elric in 2nd place, and I'm just casting my eyes back down the field to see where David McNaughton is. McNaughton 70 points adrift of Clark, so could really have done without the qualifying session that he had and having to start at the back. But a wide moment there for Alistair Smith, who goes wide, and coming through is Greg Sutherland. Sutherland back up into 3rd place, chasing hard as well is the number 91, that's Neil McInnes. So McInnes now putting Smith under some pressure. Cliff Harper immediately behind. Harper, as ever, a front runner in the championship as well, and he's behind them, and he's in 2nd place in the championship. So Gary Clark metaphorically will be rubbing his hands together here, thinking about all the extra points that he's going to amass here, and that his nearest challengers are further behind. There is David McNaughton in the 23 from last on the grids, made a lot of progress. Look how many cars are behind David McNaughton now. Really great progress through the field, and McNaughton looking to try and make some more progress now. Already broken up into the top 10. Cliff Harper immediately behind him in 72. So just to put that in perspective, McNaughton 1 place behind Harper in the championship, starts off the back of the grid. So McNaughton's weekend getting better. Presumably Cliff Harper's not going to be overly happy with his being behind McNaughton after McNaughton starts right at the back. So there is Cliff, and Gary Clark is going to extend the championship lead. It will still be only just over one race's worth. But of course, the number of races where things could go wrong gradually diminishing as the season goes on. We've got 2 more rounds after this. Effectively 240 points available, including this race. So Gary Clark, I think, will be maybe looking to knock on the door of 500 points for this year. Oh, and a spin there for Steve Goldie. Goldie takes a spin. He's 5th in the championship, one of the top newcomers, 3rd in the newcomers championship, and takes a spin. It's not the mistakes, it's how you deal with them, and he's got back on with the job. We've got a driving standards flag going out. Not quite sure who that is for. But there is David McNaughton, the Balgoni Motor Company backed driver, who's probably, unless we get a safety car, I reckon he's got as far up the order as he's going to be able to do, because there's a fair amount of space between himself and the chasers. There's a quick look there at Liam Grant, the Aberdonian in blue. Liam's had several top 10 finishes this year. Just outside the top 10 at the moment is Liam, but he'll be hoping to continue the knock on the door on that, maybe move up into the top 10 in race number 2. Ray McDowell comes through. So back we go to Greg Sutherland. He's in red there and running in 3rd place. Alistair Smith is 4th. Then Neil McInnes. Cliff Harper still actually not that far down order-wise, but the way the points go, 40 points for a win, drops by 3 to 37 for 2nd place. 3rd place get 35 points, 32 for 4th position. So there are more points lost in the top 3, as it were, and then as you go further down, the points just drop by 1 point from 5th position downwards. 5th is 30 points, 6.29 and so on. But Gary Clark is away with this one. Lee Elrick's now actually got the fastest lap. Lap 4, the black and green car about to go out of shot. He's got the fastest lap, and Lee Elrick continuing that fastest lap form that I mentioned earlier on. This could be the 3rd race in succession where Elrick takes the fastest lap, and as a result closing in on Gary Clark. We're looking at the battle for 3rd though. Greg Sutherland still there at the moment. Immediately behind him, Alistair Smith trying to close up on them as well is Neil McInnes in the black and yellow car. McInnes trying to close in on them, so it's a 3-way scrap for that battle. And then David McNaughton followed by Cliff Harper. Douglas Simpson is next up, and then Ray McDowell, followed by the car of Andrew Mackey, 53 car, the Hamilton-based driver, and he's putting a lot of pressure on Ray McDowell, and he'll be enjoying that, because Ray McDowell, as I've mentioned many times before, a very, very much respected and noted national racer, and was very, very quick indeed at Donington Park, 3rd position in round 7. Race leaders, though, are getting closer and closer together. Has Gary Clark soaked up enough pressure to maybe take this win? We go back to the battle to 3rd. So on the last lap, Gary Clark looking to add another win to his collection. A win or 2nd will still see him in the championship lead. He's not going to lose that in this race, even if these two had a coming together, and there's no reason to suppose that they will. But look at Lee Elrick's driven a great race, fastest lap, broken away from the drivers battling for 3rd, and Elrick goes to the outside line, challenging for the lead. This is a brave move from Elrick. May well go back for the cut, back on the inside line and up the hill, but it looks like Gary Clark is in control. Up the hill they come. Gordon McShannock in the distance. He's not going to be lapped, he's going to complete the full distance, but it's Gary Clark takes the win. Lee Elrick in 2nd. 3rd place will be Greg Sutherland in red, followed by McInnes and Smith. McNaughton. Cliff Harper goes across the line. Next up is Douglas Simpson, who makes up 1 place on his start, and then a pack coming through. It's Ray McDowell from Andrew Mackey. Well, good race then to open up the BMW proceedings here at Knockhill Circuit. Round 11 of the championship is won by Gary Clark. Lee Elrick 2nd and takes fastest lap. Then Greg Sutherland and Neil McInnes. Alistair Smith 4 newcomers in the top 5. Then David McNaughton and Cliff Harper. Douglas Simpson next from Ray McDowell and Andrew Mackey in 10th. 11th goes to Liam Grant from Steve Goldie. Jeff Clark, Ashley Morris 14th and Gordon McShannock in 15th.
Gary, well done, Mr. BMW, making it look really easy there. These guys have got the pace, but they don't have the consistency that you seem to have. And as soon as you get 2 or 3 laps under your belt, it's job done.
I got myself a decent gap here at the start, and then as the race went on, Lee obviously, he was quite quick a day, so he was catching me there the last couple of laps, had my rear view mirror full of him, so but just happy that we managed to hold on and get the win, and we're good points for the championship.
Yeah, that was my next point. The points in the championship, it's really starting to go your way now. You can almost sort of tread water for the next 2 rounds to get this championship under your hat.
Well, coming into this, the round today, I think we had a 47-point lead over Cliff, so I'm not too sure where he finished, but obviously extending our lead again, and it's looking good, but you never know.
Anything can happen.
That's right, 40 points for a win, so as you say, anything can happen.
Well done.
Thank you.
Lee, well done. A great podium, second position, but Gary's got some serious pace in that car.
Yeah, he does. I think he's so consistent. I think I had the fastest lap of the race, and I was kind of catching him and then dropping back and catching him, so I just kind of was giving my tyres too much to do, and he just doesn't seem to make mistakes, so it's hard to reel him in. But I just kept it cool and took a second place because it's been a while since I've been back up here, so I'm just glad to get up here again. So
you've got another chance in race 2.
Yeah, the same again. Hopefully, if it's there for the win, I'll obviously go for it. But just try to get the car home in one piece this time and enjoy my day.
Well done.
Thanks very much.
Race 2 for the Scottish BMW Compact Cup about to head out on track, and we've had dry conditions all day, but just as we're about to head out, you can see, I don't think it's going to come to much, but there's a wee bit of rain, and it's got people making some last minute adjustments. As you can see, David McNaughton's team, ALM Motorsport, making some changes to his car for the rain, and a few tyre pressure changes for Gary Clark on pole position as well. Lee Elric lines up alongside him. Gary's going to try to go out and win this and continue to extend his championship lead, I'm sure. I'll hand it to Richard, and he'll take us through the action.
Thanks, Joe. Looks a bit threatening, doesn't it? The weather, we'll see how that manifests itself for the race. And the grid based on the result of race 1. Clark from Elric, Sutherland and McInnes on row 2. Then it's Alistair Smith and David McNaughton, Cliff Harper and Douglas Simpson on row 4. Ray McDowell and Andrew Mackie ahead of Liam Grant, then Stephen Goldie, Jeff Clark, Ashley Morris 14th and Gordon McShannock completes the grid. Round 12 of the championship. Always love that view from the low camera on the front of the grid. It's a super view, and for some reason always looks brighter, but you can see Gary Clark and Lee Elric on the front row of the grid. Good start by those two. Clean start all the way down the field. Race 1 notable for no DNFs. Here they come down, and a great start by Lee Elric, who gets in front. Elric's going to be difficult to beat now. We've got a challenge on for third place as Neil McInnes has a very good look. There's Alistair Smith in 28 down behind David McNaughton. I didn't make too much really of Greg Sutherland being back in the red car. It was a fairly quiet return for Greg, although he did get up on the podium. He was a little bit of shenanigans going on at the back. Spinning around goes Andrew Mackie. Andrew just passed there by Gordon McShannock towards the back, and Andrew will rejoin the fray. But Gary Clark is down in third. My goodness, there's a lot to take from this meeting so far. Side by side for fifth place. And on the inside line, it's those two guys sparring over third position in the championship. David McNaughton and also Cliff Harper. Well, they were sparring for third in the championship in race number 1, but that's been changed now. Looking at my points that I've jotted down after race number 1, and we'll come to that a little bit later on. Alistair Smith is piling the pressure on as well. Smith has already had 2 podia so far this year, once in round 5, once in round 9, and this is the view from Jeff Clark. Jeff running as a guest driver, and I've mentioned, right to the curb, right to the sausage curb there, and you saw the side of the car go up slightly in the air. Now, guest drivers come in at this stage of the season where you can come and have a race. You don't score points. But of course it's too late to register for the overall championship. You're not going to have an impact, but by registering as a guest also means that whatever position you take, as we look at Cliff Harper going up the inside line on David McNaughton, well, they're still scrapping hard on track. And I was just about to say that whatever, as a guest driver coming in the end of the season, if you did score points, potentially you can be a spoiler for the championship. So it's a good thing that the Scottish Motor Racing Club, who organise these events, do, that guest drivers won't score points. So they're not going to deny anybody any points championship wise. They can still get in the mix, I guess, and you might have an unfortunate incident or something. I'm not saying that we will from our guest driver today, I'm sure we won't, but the point is that you can come and race, dip your toe in the water for next season, and just come and enjoy your racing as a guest. So out front, it's all changed at the front now. So it's Lee Elric in front, Neil McInnes in second place. We're looking at Cliff Harper. Now, championship-wise, after race 1 here, which was round 11 of the championship, Gary Clark leads the table still by 59 points from Cliff Harper in second. There is Harper in 72. Third place in the championship now is Lee Elric, who's leading this one, and Elric is climbing up there. Here's the view from Alistair Smith. You can see wipers on, dealing with just a little bit of fluid. And coming now down into Duffus, David McNaughton down to 4th in the championship now. Wasn't a bad finish, was it, in race number 1? 6th place, but the fact that Elric finished 2nd in race number 1 and McNaughton was 6th was just enough to flick those positions round, only by 4 points. So Elric now up into 3rd place in the standings, and Elric has had 0 wins so far. As we look at the 81 car, Douglas Simpson, Doug again sort of cementing what is an ongoing reputation for being in the top 10. Going back to Lee Elric though, 3 podia, 0 wins so far, and this could be his first win. So he's out front. Gary Clark, 5 wins, 9 podia for him over the course of the season, and the pressure is pretty much off Gary Clark at the moment. But, you know, he could coast. Oh, and a spin there coming out of the hairpin. Liam Grant has the spin, gets it all going again. A little bit of detritus on circuit, which will be possibly a little bit of a worry for some of the guys. But good scrap going on here then. David McNaughton and Cliff Harper with Alistair Smith in behind. This is for 5th place. And those guys we're used to seeing up on the podium. Ahead of them is Greg Sutherland. And as I said, I didn't make too much of Greg being out in the previous race. And I'd actually forgotten we haven't seen him for a while. Retired from round 2 of the year. Here's Alistair Smith, looks up the inside line, going into Clark, over the curbs, trying to squeeze through past the man second in the championship. Nothing quite doing there. Little touches of blue sky, promising perhaps that this spits and spots of rain may well disappear, but you can see several cars have got wipers on, just trying to deal with the moisture that's coming down a wee bit. And still up the road and in the lead, it's Lee Elric. Look at the lead that Elric's got. He was the fastest man on track, as I mentioned, in race number 1, setting a good pace here. And Gary Clark, well, one wonders whether his foot's off the gas. And any racing driver that I've spoken to will tell you that it's all about winning the individual races. Nobody wants to settle for 2nd place. Nobody wants to settle for 3rd when there are race wins to be had. For sure, Gary Clark will not take any undue risks, because he knows that lead is effectively a race and a half's worth of non-finishes. It's a good lead, a very, very good lead at any stage of the season. Clark having worked so hard through the course of the year to build that up. But with the likes of Greg Sutherland behind him, he won't want to lose any points. They all count at the end of the year. And I'm pleased to say no drop scores in the Scottish BMW Compact Cup. They have to work hard for every point, and they bank every point that they collect. But look at this, great battle going on. Clark now looking for 2nd place. Here's the leader, Lee Elric. Are we going to see a first win for the newcomer in the black and green car? The man from Inverurie on his last lap surely is going to take the win. Fastest lap in this one is with David McNaughton, who's a little way down. McNaughton's not going to score greatly in this one as well. Maybe found his level in race number 1, but we're watching Neil McInnes in 2nd place ahead of Gary Clark. They've had a very good battle in this race. There's David McNaughton in the blue and red 23, coming under pressure from Alistair Smith. Meanwhile, Lee Elric's on his way out of Clark through Hislops for the last time. Good scrap for that second place. And here's the view of the race leader. It's a very handsome lead here in the Scottish BMW Compact Cup. Round 12 for Lee Elric, coming into the hairpin for the last time in the Autopoint 14 car. And now all he's got to do is get the wheels in line and power his way up the hill. Gordon McShannock, you can see up the top of the hill. And it's the checkered flag. Lee Elric takes the win. Neil McKinnon second. Gary Clark next from Gary Sutherland. And then Alistair Smith ahead of Cliff Harper. And David McNaughton. Douglas Simpson recovers for 8th place. Good drive for him. Then it's going to be Ray McDowell in yellow. Stephen Goldie next. So Goldie completing the top 10. But Lee Elric takes it, cements 3rd place in the championship. Lee Elric the winner. Neil McKinnon second from Gary Clark and Greg Sutherland, then Alistair Smith and Cliff Harper. David McNaughton from Douglas Simpson and Ray McDowell. Stephen Goldie in 10. 11th place goes to Ashley Morris from Jeff Clark. Andrew Mackey 13th. Gordon McShannock is next, and then Liam Grant.
Lee, well done.
In 15th.
Like I just said, first time winner. It's always great to see. What a fantastic drive as well. A mega start. Gary obviously blew the start, and it was home and dry.
Yeah, it was a bit daunting. That was the first laps I've ever led, so I just thought once I got the start, just go for it. And then 6 laps in, I was starting to get a bit nervous, but I had a gap on them and I noticed they weren't catching, so I just maintained that to the end really. So just my driving started cleaning up nearer the end of the race because I wasn't pushing so hard, to be fair, so I was just happy the gap stayed the same, like I say, and just took it home.
First one's always the hardest. It's quite a strange feeling when you're up by yourself. It's a bit confusing to begin with.
Yeah, it's there's nobody to get your braking points off of, that's for sure. You're just kind of going for it yourself. So
well done. A really great day. Good job.
Thanks very much.
Neil, my favourite racing driver.
Joe, you've told us last time.
I mean it. I genuinely mean it. What a great drive. You were moaning. You were sat on those stairs over there moaning, hated everything, and then you came out.
I was putting the naughty step in race 1, but it was overturned, thankfully, so I got to start in 4th rather than, I think, 7th or something if I was second penalty.
Without that, you wouldn't have been on the podium.
Probably not, no. But
Talk me through it then. You're not lost for words. Come on, tell me. Give me a rerun.
I got a really good start actually, and I got a chance to move across on Gary, which I thought was a matter of time before Gary gets me, but most of the race was spent just defending Gary and putting the car where he wanted to be because he was quicker than me at a lot of the points of the race. But everyone else defends against me, so I thought it was time to start thinking like the rest of them. So I enjoyed it. I couldn't wait for that last lap board.
Lee's won one now. You need to win one.
No, I'm not bothered about winning, Joe. I don't like the limelight, Joe. Come on, listen, it's great for Lee as well because me and him started at the same time. Turns out he's now better than me, so never mind. But nah, it's great for him and well done. He's a really strong weekend actually. That's 2 podiums. So, but nah, I'm over the moon, Joe. Yeah.
King Gary toppled from the throne there. A bad start, and boy, did they punish you.
I just didn't really get off a line too well, and these 2 lads got in front and hard work to pass them. They were both quick, drove a good race, so fair play to them.
But to be fair to you, you don't need the points. It's nice to get them, but championship-wise, you don't need to be winning races.
No, that's right. I mean, 3rd, it's still good points for our championship, and that's the main thing. So I just fell back to 4th there behind Greg and managed to pass him just in the next lap. So it was good.
Well done. It was a good recovery.
Thank you.